So I live in Longmont, but I do a lot of work, and I have a job in Boulder. I mean, is it possible for me to get, is it legally possible for me to get involved in the legislative process in Boulder, or because I'm a resident of Longmont, I have to stay and do work there?
No, what I would suggest that you do is that you find out who your legislators are for your home address and your business address and contact both of them because you're their constituent. So they're elected in Longmont. But let me back up on that. It's a really good point. I want to leave you with something. Legislators are real people. They're not judges. They're not lawyers, most of them. Some of them are. They're real people. And they put their pants on one leg at a time like us. So you have a real shot at connecting with them and being able to talk to them. It's really going to be disseminating the information and keeping the chaos that ensues from misinformation from moving this bill forward. So find out who your local officials are, where you live, where you work, connect with them. If you plant those seeds now, they'll remember you when the bill's coming back up and you send them an email and say, oh, hey, you remember I introduced myself, this is here, I'm going to be talking about it, I'd really appreciate your support. Anything you can do to plant those seeds now, they'll remember you, absolutely. We're going to be asking you to call and contact people that are not your elected officials, but you still live in this state and it's still relevant to you. So first step is contact your elected officials, plant those seeds, build those relationships so that you can come back and cultivate them when the bill comes up, right? And then the second is we'll have the grassroots come through when we're looking at the margins so that we'll be specifically targeting. If we can get 100 people to contact 10 people, you know, that's a lot of emails and calls. That's a lot of noise for them to have to ignore on this. I'm so sorry. Yeah, you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what you said. As far as like actually meeting with legislators and talking to them one-on-one, it's a lot more effective than emailing them. Like I've worked as an intern for a congressperson back in Illinois a couple of years back, and literally every single email and piece of mail that ever went through, it was just added to a giant database. They would just look for a keyword like gun rights or abortion or whatever. They put it into a big database and they just crunch all these numbers just to see what the voters are basically, you know, how to appease them. So if you can actually meet them, it's not more effective like a one-on-one than just emailing them because they get hundreds of emails. Interns just file through them and they put them into a giant computer database and they don't even read any of your words.
I would amend on the state level anyways. I mean, they'll often tally them and let them know I've received 60 emails in opposition and 20 in support or X, Y, or Z, and that absolutely is, it does make a huge difference here. But the personal relationship that you're talking about is absolutely invaluable and irreplaceable. I know that I'm messing this up, so I'm really sorry. We'll go you, and you, and then you.
Could you talk about the color coding there, and is the number in parentheses the district?
Yeah, so blue means Democrat, red means Republican, and the number is the House district. That was also Teresa. You know. I'm sorry, yes.
That's all right. What's the time frame on this bill? When does it get introduced in committee and so on?
You know, that's a really good question, and you may have more information about that than I do.
We don't know for sure. In the past, we've had it introduced in March, and we've had it introduced in February. So the legislative session starts January 11th and goes until May 5th or whatever. We're going to be meeting with the representative. So there's two lead sponsors on this. Representative Salazar and Milton are the lead sponsors. They do it together. And then hopefully we'll have a whole list of co-sponsors plus sponsors in the Senate and all that. But at this point, Salazar and Milton are the main folks who are sponsoring this, and we have to work with them on the time frame.
Thank you.
They did say they're prioritizing it.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, how important is like city council with respect to this entire process? Like how, like at what point in the hierarchy do they sit, and like how important are they to try to influence and affect, if at all?
So that's a great question. They have what's called an association of cities, if you will, called the Colorado Municipal League. And that organization dictates public policy for local government or municipalities across the state. They're made up of boards and commissions, and so if we have local elected officials that are friendly to our viewpoint, anything that we can do to amplify their voice within that infrastructure can help to mitigate some of the opposition. It also helps us to build more allies that we can bring to talk about what's going on. So I would say if you have access to local city council people who are friendly to what we're doing and they're willing to come and speak about it, that would be of huge help. not their process, it's the state's process. So they don't have a vote, but they have the ability to voice their opinion just like everybody else on what the state is doing. Does that answer your question?
But just to add to that really quick, that's actually one of the huge obstacles right now. We have not gotten a single so in the House of Representatives, there's what's called the Denver Dems. We have not gotten a single one of them to vote for this bill. Most of the votes that we have gotten that are yes votes are from the suburbs. So if we can get more council folks here in Denver, or other cities too, to stand up, that's huge, because the CML, the Colorado Municipal League that she's referring to, is one of the active opposition to our bill.
Sorry, the blue, gotcha. Go.
Well, just a quick thing that I'm sure you can make a point on. Where a person would go at both Colorado website and the City of Denver, or City you're in, gov website to see what testimonies are being heard when. There must certainly be a schedule of bills being heard.
There is. I will tell you, it's really hard to follow, and if I sent all of you off on the mission to try to track this bill, I'd lose all of your attention really quickly. I'm responsible for keeping track of when it's coming up, where it's at on the calendar, and communicating that information to Therese so that she can disseminate it to you. As soon as we know when it's calendared, it will go out along with talking points and contact information for you.
So the best place for us then to streamline is to go to your.
Absolutely.
If you want any information on this bill, go to either the Colorado Homeless Bill of Rights website or the Denver Homeless Out Loud website. And I just wanted to say one other thing on that point, so everybody knows. There's a large coalition of folks who have been working on this for a number of years, and that includes folks in Fort Collins and Boulder and other places. And so Mike, and then the two folks in Fort Collins, I definitely want to give you guys any words you want to say, because you guys came all the way out from Boulder and Fort Collins to be part of this, and have been working on this for a long time. So there's the Boulder Rights Watch, Fort Collins Homeless Coalition, and then other folks in Colorado Springs and in Grand Junction, and now new folks in Pueblo who are all a part of it.
I've ignored you for a long time. You're great.
I don't feel ignored. A quick statement and a question. Don't discount the power of a phone call to your legislators.
Thank you.
We just saw in the U.S. Congress, the Republicans decided not to gut the Ethics Committee because they were inundated with phone calls against that. Don't discount that. And my question is, what type of coordinated effort is there with California and Oregon? And how do we play off them and take their momentum with us as well? That's the question.
I'm gonna punt that one.
So we're using the same messaging, they're running the same exact bill, it's the same exact homeless bill of rights campaign, asking for hygiene centers, asking for these rights and the right to rest. That folks in California actually named this bill prior to us. They had already run it, and it was almost identical to what we were coming up with. And so we just worked with them. They're our sisters and our brothers, so we have identical bills. And so on the back of the t-shirts it says "RAP," Health Keys Not Handcuffs. That's our overall campaign. And yeah, I think the more that, and I'm kind of a stickler for that. The more that we can use that exact wording, "House Keys Not Handcuffs," the more that we can kind of build that base. And we should also acknowledge that there's a national movement that we're loosely affiliated with. That the National Coalition is the National Coalition for the Homeless. It's against criminalization for housing, and you can look them up too. It's the same type of ethic, but perhaps there's our other organizations. So that campaign is ours.
Yeah, real quick, this is a follow-up on the announcements. We have an email blast where we will put that information out when it's available. Also, if you follow us on Facebook, when that information becomes available, we'll have it on our Facebook page so you can get that timely information. Both of those things will probably just drive you back to the website where the details are, but that's a way to find out when and where and adjust your schedules if you're wanting to be there for those things.
Yes.
I just want to let people know that they want to talk to the Denver Dems representatives. Every House district has a meeting once a month. This district, House District 8, is right over at Ford Warren Library. I think it's whatever Saturdays after the 15th, I suppose. But every district has one on Saturdays usually. And that's where the representative will be there and you can talk to them directly.
That's an excellent idea. Maybe we can get that information to you so that you can put that on the website so people can show up at those meetings. They're public and they like to hear from people.
Only throwing this out there because I don't really see too many, I guess. I'm not trying to be a jerk or whatnot. But I don't really see very many of Hispanic or Spanish speaking. So I am Spanish speaking, so I'd be more than happy to take over or just try to connect with, I don't know if we have any, or sorry, I knew the main and you're here.
So,
Okay, so yeah, so go ahead.
No, I just wanted to sorry, thank you, yes, and I was just gonna identify, there's a number of people in this room, like, so we're all kind of like standing all over the place, but the questions, really go to everybody. But yeah, so say what you were saying again.
So I just want to see if there's pretty much also material, for Spanish speakers or for the minority that is not fluent in English, even though they've worked here most of their lives. Point blank and simple, I've known and grown up with people like this. So I definitely know it impacts a lot of people, especially people that are foreign. Even if they do speak English, it's extremely difficult for them to just, like we all been said, to not understand pretty much. So I'd like to, I guess I'll meet up with you, take charge, but as of right now, I was just kind of asking if there's kind of anything like that here going now, because I would like to broaden that, and I feel like if we take to the, I guess, Hispanic or Latino community, it would also help us get more votes and things like that.
Hell yeah.
What we need for that is translators. And we need certified translators to translate the legality and all that kind of stuff. It's expensive. I mean, if it can be done, that's something that we've asked for other projects in the past, but we need people to do the translation. So, I mean, it can be done, but we need someone to do the work and be able to verify it.
Some of it is translated. If you go to the Rap Home website, raphome.org, all the campaign materials that are collaborative between our two organizations are translated on there, so you can start with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll start putting some on, bringing them for next one, okay? Good.